welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. Now, I'm fairly certain this movie came out last week, because it was on my radar, but I forgot, because it's on Apple TV+. And I didn't have Apple TV Plus until, 2 weeks ago, so I watched this last night, and you know, I don't have an iOS device, so I have to use Apple TV Plus on my Android, which they don't really make it optimized for Android for obvious reasons. There's no Android app to watch Apple TV Plus. But then again, you would think they would want as many people watching their shit as possible, so you would think that would be the, you know what I'm saying, where, you would think that the priority would be getting subscribers to your streaming service. So if it meant getting a Apple TV Plus app on Google Play, you would think they would want Disney and Sony that shit and get it together. Yeah, so, but first, let's talk about, the free book promotion going on. I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. I have no idea why. Free book promotion currently going on. If you go to bit.ly/ATFREEBOOK, between now and Friday being this Friday, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2021, you can get a free copy of the book The Muses, completely for free. You can add it to your Kindle library. So if you do that, it helps us out. So nothing you have to do. Just go to bit.ly/ATFREEBOOK, and then you can get your free book and add it to your Kindle library. If you like it, you can, I don't know, there is no stock car for it. Never mind. But yeah, if you liked Spider-Man No Way Home, you will probably like this book, because it's a multiverse hopping team up with a team of villains and a team of heroes. And if you like Spider-Man, you'll probably like this. It's kind of similar, but key distinction, I did it first. Anyway, moving on to this week's book. This week's movie. Well, not week. This episode's movie, and that would be Swan Song. Not the one that I wrote. And I gotta be specific, because there were two movies with this name that came out this year, as I found out going to Rotten Tomatoes to see what I could find out about this movie before I watched it. There were two movies that came out in 2021 named Swan Song, as well as four others that came out prior to this year, because it's a common term. It is the term that, it is the final voyage of something. It is the last time that someone does something. It is, it comes from mythology, and so, that's why I picked it for the title of my book. It's why it fittingly fits here. I did not see the other movie named Swan Song, so I can't speak to how well it fits there, but I can speak to how well it fits here, and it fits pretty well. The movie it's got a pretty big cast. It's got Naomi Harris, who you may know as Moneypenny from James Bond, Mahershala Ali, who's won 2 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor in 3 years, also will be playing Blade in the MCU, Aquafina, who is a pretty big comedian. She has her own show on Comedy Central, plays Katie in Shang-Chi. She had a few other things. Glenn Close, who you may know as Glenn Close. Don't really need to go too much deeper on that. So it's a pretty big cast. It's one of those movies that's got a pretty big cast, and it's science fiction, and it's really good. And the thing is, too, it's more of a hard science fiction, more of a ponderous, speculative fiction title, where it's less about, where it's less about the, science fiction in its purest form, and I feel like I talk about this once every few months. In its purest form, science fiction is designed to hold up a mirror to society, using technology as a lens to see through, which mirrors don't have lenses, but you get what I'm saying. So if I'm writing science fiction, I'm using a situation that is untenable now to create an image for you that is, basically, it's still going to reflect human behavior now in our current era in the real world. So it's a useful allegorical tool. And the origin of science fiction comes from comes from the Mary Shelley, the grandmother of science fiction herself, who was the first to really take a story, and infuse modern understanding of science to it for the first time, and ask the question, what do we do when we play God? This story is not quite that. This story is what happens, what is the sense of self? And that's a question that's been going way back to the fucking Greeks, probably even farther than that. What makes me, me? And it's a profound question. It's a deeply philosophical one about, who we are. So basically the general premise is Mahershala Ali plays a guy who has terminal cancer. And what he decides to do is, rather than tell his wife he has terminal cancer, he goes and his doctor brings him into this, this program, I guess we'll call it, where they will make a perfect clone of you, incorporate your memories into the clone, so that way the clone functionally is you, and that clone will step into your life, and you'll live out whatever little amount of days you have left in this little area, and then you will, die, but your family will still have a version of you there who can, take care of it, to, still be there. And by all accounts, it is you, it's just not really you. It wasn't born as you, it's a clone. So this is the conundrum that he deals with, is immediately as he does it, he's like, yeah, of course, let's do this. And then as he sees what the clone is doing, and as he sees that the clone is, taking his life, he gets, he gets less and less interested in it. And it's interesting that as you watch this movie, Cameron, I believe his name is, kind of goes through the 5 stages of grief, but the 5 stages of grief for his own life. With, where he has the outbursts of anger, he's bargaining to get a little extra time, and then ending with him going through to acceptance. And I feel like it's a very powerful movie in that regard. And I think that, it really allows Mahershala Ali to play with the full spectrum of emotion. And then, he gets the depression, and he's sitting there and he's just watching what clone him is doing. And all of that. And it does it really well. And I think that you would need an actor like Mahershala Ali to be able to carry that. And then kind of shepherding him along through this is Aquafina's character. I forgot her name. I keep wanting to call her Katie, but I know that's not her name. That's her name in Shang-Chi. Aquafina is someone who has gone through this before. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she went through the program before, and now she's living out her days there. So, she's kind of the wizened, old guard who is like, yeah, I know what this is like. I've been on this side of it, and all of that. And I think there's a really, one of the key emotional moments of the movie is when we get toward the end, and we find, and he's meeting with Aquafina, who is on her deathbed at this point, because her condition is deteriorated to the point where she's stuck in, she's bedridden. And I think that the moment that when he hands her the card, and she's like, that's really insensitive, and it's such a great moment. and then she just bursts out laughing, and it's just, and then, her condition deteriorates. I think we're supposed to imply that she had died after that point. But it's just a fantastic movie all around, Swan Song. So, if you haven't seen it, which I think there's a good chance a lot of people haven't, because it is an Apple TV Plus movie. And I think most people, for the most part, when I hear about Apple TV Plus, I hear about Ted Lasso. So I think most people just consider it like an $8 a month Ted Lasso service, or a $4 a month Ted Lasso service. So it's pretty cool, and it's like, it does one of those things that I really love in speculative science fiction on TV, is it shows what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the future world has future technology that seems like a logical extension of where we are now. As like, lenses in your contacts that are cameras, microphones in your earpieces that act as, phones, and they're not exactly, cumbersome. What was the other one? Who else was there? Like, whenever they have, like, these hologram things, it looks kind of like a 3D wooden thing, but they're holograms, like video games that are virtual reality that are projected not virtual reality, they're holograms that are projected into the real world. All these things feel really, like, not outlandishly outside the realm of possibility, but not, 100%, like, this can never happen. So, I cannot recommend this movie highly enough. Definitely check it out. You can get it on your Apple TV Plus subscription, which I think that, like, if you buy anything with an Apple logo on it, you get a free trial, so, maybe that. It's not the best movie on Apple TV Plus this year, I will concede. I think Coda is a better movie. And I think Coda will probably make my top 10, while this will not. But I don't know. So yeah, so we'll wrap up there for today. Today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday. Hawkeye will be wrapping up imminently, so that's going to be cool. And then Book of Boba Fett starts next week, so we launch right into our next series. What was the other one that we have? The Matrix this week, and I will be seeing The Kingsman tomorrow night. So definitely The Kingsman tomorrow night. Definitely Hawkeye the next day. And then what was the other one? The Matrix probably Thursday. Because I'll be watching The Matrix tomorrow night too. It's gonna be a long night tomorrow night. So yeah. So until next time, have a great rest of your week.